Have you ever canoed down a babbling brook?
No, but I have cried at a Taco Bell.
Oh, same thing. Listen up, campers.
It's time to buckle up, pitch a tent, and take a hike.
Because Camp Counselors is a variety show.
So prepare for a good old-fashioned kumbaya,
Weird news,
hot gossip,
and scary stories around the campfire.
so spooky.
Is this podcast even about camping?
No, but it is camp. This is Camp Counselors. Hey, happy campers. Welcome back to your favorite fictional camp, Camp Shady Birch.
It is week 65 here at Fictional Camp.
And we're so excited to be back. A great show, as always. I really believe we will deliver on today's episode.
Speaking of deliver,
Speaking of...
that was very clever.
I know, and as I was saying, and I was like, not as like killing as. So the reason why there's a joke about delivery is because we had a little bit of drama at our apartment this week.
Yeah, so we had come back from Thanksgiving, no?
Yeah, it was the day we came back from Thanksgiving. We arrived at 5 p.m., which meant it was pitch black out. And I'm going up to the door. It's a little rainy out to set the scene. And I can see a package sitting like on the steps down to our apartment. So I was like, okay, great. No one stole our package. But when I pick it up, I can see that there's writing all over it, but there was no apartment light outside, so I couldn't really read it. So I pulled my flashlight. So I was like, what is this writing all over it? And it just said, "Stop stealing packages," written on all, like, I don't know, was it 6 sides of the box?
Yeah.
Everywhere written, "Stop stealing packages." Guys, someone in our neighborhood is accusing Jonathan and I of stealing packages.
Now, I've stolen the hearts of millions of Americans
Yes,
for
it's true.
years now.
Mhm.
But one thing I haven't done is stole a package.
I've never stolen a package in my life. Even when we get packages dropped off to our apartment for like the next door or whatever, I will go over
Yeah.
and put on my Amazon vest that I ordered off of Amazon as a little joke, and I'll put it in front of their steps. Hopefully they see me on their Ring doorbell. LOL. We've never stolen a package, and we get so many packages. I love Amazon. We get stuff from like work stuff and like PR, whatever. We get a lot of mail,
Yeah.
but we never get anyone else's mail that we've ever kept, ever.
Yeah, pretty much if we get a package, you're delivering it to them.
I'm pissed because now our neighborhood block is very tight. There's a couple people who are always strolling on everyone else's stoops. They're talking. I feel like we're now the talk of the town, talk of the block. People are accusing us of something that didn't happen.
We weren't even here. It's like, where's the proof? Where's the pudding, babe?
And actually, I had a package that was stolen over Thanksgiving break.
Yeah,
I ordered a gift that I won't say out loud because I think someone might be listening that would hear it.
sure.
For someone that we know, that was, it was over $100 and it wasn't here. So thank God the company was really nice about it and they sent a replacement package.
Uh-huh.
I didn't want to, so I was like, did that person steal the package in retaliation for thinking that we stole their package?
That's what we feared because then
I
that
fear.
following day, because we had been at Friendsgiving when this happened, we had made like a big purchase of things that we had to like re-up on or Christmas gifts that were going to be delivered that Monday. So Monday, we carved out the time to be like,
it was after Black Friday
oh.
because I purchased a lot of my
Oh,
Christmas
so it was
stuff.
just after the normal Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was after the normal Thanksgiving.
Right.
So I was like, wait, now I'm going to be sitting here at the door the entire day waiting for this huge order I got from Amazon, which is basically like all of my Christmas gifts, to come in because I was like, well, now someone's retaliating against us. And we didn't do anything. And I feel like this is slander. And I want to see the Ring doorbell footage that puts us at the scene of the crime because now it's just hearsay. So if you don't have proof, why are we being targeted?
The neighbor down the block who usually says hi stopped saying hi.
Yes. I don't know who it is. And I feel like when you're targeting someone for stealing packages, it feels like it's somebody on the left or the right. It's not the girls in our building because we're very good about it. Like if I see their packages, I put them upstairs and like in the hallway for them. They do the same for us. We look after each other here at our apartment. So somebody in the block in the very close vicinity is a snake, a liar, and a thief and a crook. And I hope they listen to this podcast because I'm not putting up with it.
Yeah, they're a fucking little tattletale rat. And then you purchased a Ring doorbell. It's a little too late for that.
No, it's going to hold its value. Actually, it was a really good deal on Amazon.
Okay.
It was $50.
Not sponsored.
Well, no, and it's usually I think like $90, but it was a Black Friday deal. We haven't put it up yet because we live in the outside of the building is a brownstone, which means you have to drill. It's like it's not like an easy like
installation
installment.
process. Yeah.
It's like, come on. It's like, you want me to pull the drill out, get a level. Guys, I can't, I need to do it because now I'll feel so much better because I think when someone sees a Ring doorbell, They're not
Right.
grabbing packages.
And we put decoys out.
That's high def. Well, let's not tell them all our tricks here
Oh.
with our fake camera decoy. But someone feels comfortable stealing from us, so I bought the $50 camera. I don't care. If I see someone doing it to me, then I have the proof. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is on the footage. But where is my face on your fucking Ring doorbell accusing me? They wrote it in big black Sharpie over a fake brown box decoy, which I thought was realty. They didn't leave a post-it note. They got a brown box that they probably got for themselves. And they wrote, "Stop stealing packages" on all 6 sides of the box. That was hurtful. And I feel bad because they clearly are hurt in this whole thing. But it wasn't me. So don't be pointing fingers at me without your proof, because there is no proof, because it didn't happen. I am worked up. You didn't ask that, but I can feel it.
I
Because-
can tell you, because like, what are we supposed to do now?
All I have in this world is my reputation, and it is ruined on this block. Ruined. And I'm going to have to go out door to door handing out cookies of apologies for a crime I didn't commit.
Now, hold on a second.
What?
What if I flip this on its head?
Flip it, babe.
What if someone
What if I
wait,
flip
no,
it? You're feeling so okay. I can see it in your eyes. There's a twinkle.
the jurisdiction is out. So
Stop using buzzwords.
I looked at like
Jurisdiction is out. What are you talking about?
I looked at like one legal document today, so
As
I'm
you
like
should.
on my bullshit.
Good for you.
So what if one of the neighbors saw someone stealing our package that was stolen before that? Because there was in fact a package of ours that was stolen. And what if they put that there for like them protecting us from whoever's stealing the packages? What if somebody wrote that in our honor?
You just like took my breath away. So there is someone fighting for our rights. Oh my God. Wait. Why didn't you bring this up?
Because I
For
just
the
thought
week
about
this
it.
happened.
It literally
So
just
you're
came to my
saying
mind.
that a neighborly neighbor dropped off a package and put it because they saw our package being stolen. So they were
Yes.
like, "Oh, this is for the next person."
Yeah, maybe they knew that we weren't home. Allegedly. This is all alleged.
Oh my God. So how do we get to the bottom of this? The root of the canal.
I don't know. Maybe I think we just got to put up our Ring doorbell and see how
We
how this
do.
panhandles out.
We got to put on our faded denim, our fake Timberland boots. I got to put a pencil behind my ear. I got to smoke a cigarette, and I got to do my installation, okay? This is Carhartt City, and I'm ready to be a man's man and put my little Ring doorbell up. I got to get the drill out. Jonathan bought me a lovely Blue Ridge $50 drill like 5 years ago, and guess what? That thing works great. So we're going to have to get out there and get boots on the ground and protect ourselves, because the Ring doorbell is just sitting in the box. It's been downstairs on the table for a week. I got to do it today.
Yeah.
I love that theory. Now I feel so much more relaxed, and I'm going to change my perspective and go with what you said, because that's just like a nicer way to look at life.
Yeah. And that could be what it was. However, the neighbor down the street did stop saying hi to us. But all that to say, the neighborhood drama it's brewing.
Yeah. So then we were talking about like this incident, obviously, because all Jonathan and I do every single day is just talk in circles about absolutely nothing, because we were both born with the gift of gab. So thank God we're together, because we will just never shut up. So I was like, Jonathan, like, do you have like previous drama with neighbors? Because I've been living in apartments by myself since I was 19. So like coming up on a decade. So I've had a lot of neighbors, a lot of apartment drama. Do you have some stories?
So I do have a brief story. Well, 2 brief stories.
hear it.
In college, my upstairs neighbor did get arrested for having sex in her car across the street.
Okay, first of all, that's her right. As an
Yeah.
American, have sex in the car across the street. We've all had car sex at least once. I didn't have it on a public street.
Yeah,
I was young.
It was a public street. I don't know who ratted on them, but it was during Made in America. So it was like some guy that she met at the concert, because it was like you would just hop on the subway and go home from the subway. So that was a situation that that panned out there.
I lost my virginity in the back of a minivan. It was hot. I was sweating, and it wasn't good. But come on, I'm just being truthful. The campers, I bring authenticity to the show.
I love
I
that.
give them what happened. It's a part of my life story. One day I'll write it in the book.
Was it all-wheel drive?
Well, it was in park.
Okay. I would hope so.
Continue. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Listen, I'm feeling like a sharer today. I'm oversharing.
No,
It's a
we
Monday.
love that. This is the place to share. No, it's a Wednesday.
Well, I'm recording on a Monday.
Oh, it is a Monday.
See, once again, I'm continuing to be truthful. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
So then my other neighbor in the last apartment that I was in, she was this older woman who just loved to talk. She was in her 70s.
Such a sweetheart.
Yeah, she's such a sweetheart. Love her. But she would love to just like, have a couple of wine coolers and then sit on the back and then talk to anybody who would come out. So you would literally, if you see her outside, you would be trapped in a 30-minute conversation. So
Yeah.
There were some days where I would look out the window and I'm like, is she out there? Because I don't want to do this right now. But most of the time she's so pleasant and fun. So I would be fine with having the conversation with her. So when I first moved in, she introduces herself and just gives me the lowdown. I didn't even say my name yet. And she's like, your landlord, he's been coming after us because we shared a wall. She's like, your landlord's been coming after me. This is my sister's house. I pay her rent and he tries to hit me with everything that's wrong with the outside of my house. I was like, okay. She's telling me how much of an asshole he is, giving me his family lineage.
Because it was a row home in Philly for people that like know the home style.
Yeah. And then she goes on to tell me all the tea on all the neighbors, which I was living for.
Of course.
She tells me the neighbor across the street is in the witness protection program. She tells me why, because she was on a trial and of which someone who was like drug trafficking.
You and your brother love to gossip about that poor lady across the street.
Oh,
before her?
It was before her.
Oh, that house has got some weird energy because there's always a weirdo that lives there.
I know. And then she proceeded to tell me the woman's name, which I don't think you're supposed to do when you're in witness protection program. Also, I'm like, how do you know this? But I was still listening.
Yeah, but your neighbor that was telling you all this, she was a pretty truthful woman. She had good intentions. I don't think she made that up.
Yeah, and then she tried hooking me up with her son who was in his 40s. She's like, you're gay? My son's gay. I was like, my boyfriend was with me at the time. I was like, thank you so much.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
We need to stop setting up gay people with other gay people for the sole fact that they are gay. There has to be a little bit more of a commonality here. And I'm looking at the straight women here, guys. I know you mean well, but some of you have been doing that for years. And just because two people are gay does not mean they need to date.
No,
so let's look past that a little bit and let's grow on that segment, everybody.
Two bottoms do not make a happy hamburger bun.
They don't. They're just fighting for the bottom bunk the entire time. My turn.
No, but she was great. And still to this day, like every June 1st, she'll text me and say Happy Pride Month.
That's an ally. See, that's how to be an ally, everybody. Celebrate our month of rainbow.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't really have that. That was like kind of the neighborly drama for me, but I feel as though you've got quite the juice.
I have had drama with every neighbor ever. And it's not like my drama, but as you know, when we're out in public, what am I constantly doing at dinner when we're out in a group setting?
Staring at people, listening, trying to fish the drama. Last night we get into the car, and as soon as the car door closes with who we were with, you're like, okay, don't be shy, spill the tea.
Oh my God. Also, this is a really side note. I posted on my threads. We were in an Uber last night going into Manhattan because our train right now is like down. So it was our only option. And all of a sudden we're crossing the bridge into Manhattan and I'm hit with a waft of citrus, like really strong, fresh citrus. And I'm not complaining at all. Like I actually was living for it, but I couldn't see because I was sitting behind the driver and Jonathan's on the side of me. So I texted Jonathan. I was like, is he eating an orange? And Jonathan was like, he just opened a clementine. And I have been in so many stinky Ubers, but the smell of fresh citrus being cracked open in like a small confined area, like a car, is really nice. And I was feeling a little car sick and it actually was helping the nausea for me. I just thought it was really a really like just nice experience. And I wanted to share that. Fresh citrus in a car is a really welcoming scent.
Yeah, I wanted to ask for a little peace.
Well, I had a guy once, I was going to a really important meeting in Manhattan at 10 o'clock in the morning and I was sweating. I was really nervous and he was pounding ranch corn nuts and brake checking. And I was like, I'm going to vomit and I'm going to flip out in a minute. So listen, Uber drivers got to eat while they got to go, right? But let's pick a neutral food group. And a citrus.
A clementine, that's great. And then we went out to dinner and Scotty told us like when he used to smoke cigarettes, he would just like crack open one of those babies before going in the house when you're younger because then your fingers don't smell like cigarettes.
Yeah.
Genius.
Citrus is really the way. It's a really great neutralizer of odors, but that's not what we're talking about right now.
It's great for scurvy.
It is great
against
for
scurvy rather.
Yes.
Okay.
So back to the neighbor drama. I had to wind it down for 2 stories because I could talk days and days and days about all the drama between my neighbors because I'm always listening and I'm always down to chat. If you see me in the street, you want to tell me a little juice? I don't care how late I am. Let's get into it. Do you want to hear the sadder, more serious one first, or do you want to hear the more lighthearted one? Let's do the serious one first.
Okay, let's do the serious one.
Because then we can end on a good note.
Yeah, sounds good.
So
Uh-oh.
Here we go. So me and my best friend Mia lived together for like a year and a half. And we lived in, this is the only time I've ever lived in like an actual like apartment building. I've always lived in like family, like homes, like everyone gets a floor. You know what I mean? Like kind of like a tenement. But I've never, this was like a certified apartment building. There was multiple properties, tons of parking spaces, a lot of people in the building. So in my building, there was like 8 units. So actually more than that, because it was like double-sided, whatever. A lot of units. I think like 16. So me and Mia, we would always be in the living room late at night, and the people who lived directly above us, the husband was not the husband, the boyfriend. He was a certified drug dealer, and he was in a gang. And I'm not joking. Like it is what it is. We lived in New Bedford. Like we knew that he was like selling drugs out of the apartment, and then like was involved in gang activity. So they would come home at 11 o'clock at night, and they would just start brawling. It didn't matter what day of the week it was. It would just go from 0 to 100. Like no one was home. They had the dog in the crate all day. They would let the dog out. The dog would go crazy because it was in a crate all day. And then they would just go at it, screaming at each other. The police got called at one point. It was crazy. They were fighting in the parking lot. So me and my best friend Mia were obviously at the sliding glass door, like trying to see what's happening because it was tea. One time the fight was so bad, the loudest noise I've ever heard in an apartment above me happened. It sounded like he threw a microwave like on the ground. And this was like 11 o'clock at night, like always so late. And it was actually like really terrifying and sad, but I couldn't say anything. And I don't want anyone to be like, oh, we should have reported it. Absolutely fucking not. Rule number 1, when you live with people who are like in gangs or drug dealers, you can't report them because the cops are never going to defend you and be like, they're it's not HIPAA, guys. They're going to rat on your ass. You can't trust them because they're going to be like, oh, the apartment below you was calling because of a noise complaint. And now I'm on their back. This guy is actually unsafe with a criminal record. Like I'm not getting involved. It's not my place. But it was just like a really hard like instance to live under because it was like, I can't do anything. This is obviously a very toxic situation and he is fucking scary.
So microwave is very specific. Why do you think it was the microwave?
Because you know why? Because it was
dinged?
so no, it was just very heavy, but it just sounded like the noise was very condensed to a small, heavy item. Like think about how it would sound if you were to like drop a TV, how that would like almost like be like a big or wider sound. This was loud, but like a compact sound. So I was like, what's a heavy, smaller object that would make that heavy of a sound?
AC unit.
Yes, it could have been an AC unit. I don't know what it was. It definitely did damage to the floor. Like it was that loud. At one point though, he did move out. That was a really bad apartment complex too. There was just like a lot of like trouble. But I did used to use their dumpsters after I moved out because it's really hard to find a dumpster to throw your stuff into if you ever need to use a dumpster.
Yeah.
But I knew that they had dumpsters, so I used it after the fact.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
I was ending a relationship. It was the only apartment we could find. It was a nice apartment. The interior, it was just like a really like hodgepodge of sketchy people in that apartment.
Is that the one you were living in when we first started talking? Because you
moved. Yes.
Yeah, we were talking when you were moving.
Yes. Okay. That was but we were like not seriously talking. We were just like kind of getting to know each other. But yeah, most of our relationship, almost all of our relationship happened in like that next apartment, right, which I loved. And those lesbians that lived upstairs from me, they would always fight too. Yeah. But see, that's another story for another day. Let me end on the lighter note story of neighborhood drama. Okay. So my first apartment ever I moved into when I was 19 with a girl I worked with at Olive Garden, her boyfriend, and then a girl she went to college with at UMass. So the 4 of us lived in this really great apartment. It was actually crazy. It was like 2 floors, 4 of us living there. Like it was really spacious, actually very nice for a first apartment. Now that I look back at it, I'm like, that was one of the nicest ones I ever had. I was like lucked into that one. But there was a guy who lived on first floor, and I believe his name was Ed. I'm not positive, but it's just like giving Ed to me because it was like 9 years ago. So when we first got there to move in, there's like signs all over the doors that say like, you can't smoke here, like person on oxygen. Oh yeah. You've seen those ones before? Mm-hmm. He would smoke nonstop. And the person on oxygen was his wife. She was one of those women that was like constantly like with a little like side hustle, like a subtle sidecar of an oxygen tank. Like
not the side hustle.
No, like she just was constantly on oxygen. She was so sweet. She would leave us like rice pudding. She was a nice old Portuguese woman. But he was like constantly smoking, and he was just so heavily involved in what was happening in the neighborhood because like he was retired. And I'll never forget this one day. I was driving home from Olive Garden after like a late shift. It was snowing really heavy and the plows were already out in the city. So I lived on a one-way street to like wrap around the block. And when I wrapped around the block, it was like 10 o'clock at night, and I can see like a city car blocking off my street. It's like completely blocked in front. It's got those orange lights. So it's not like a police car, but it's like a road crew kind of car. Yeah. And I see these lights and I'm like, fuck, what do I do? Like, I have to, this is like actually my block. Like, I have to park down here. Like, I can see there's plows way behind it, but he's blocked off. And then I'm looking over at the person who's like directing the plows, flailing his arms in the air. I'm like, oh, this isn't a city car. This is my neighbor, Ed, who illegally installed orange flashing lights on the back of his car and on the top. And he's moving his hands in the air, gesturing where to drop the snow to the city plow department, who is completely ignoring him. And I'm like, Ed, can you move your car so I can park? He's like, they got a plow down here. I'm like, Ed, how about they tell me what's going on here? Because you're not the city official.
I love that Ed went to the extent of putting the orange lights on his own car.
Yeah, illegally. And he would like, if it would snow, he'd be like, we got to move the cars. And then we'd be like, we're all like 19. And we're like, okay, Ed, we'll do it in a minute. He goes, throw your keys down the stairs. And my roommate, Chelsea, she was like such a bad bitch. She'd be like, Ed, we're not giving you our keys. And like, she'd be like, she would just tell him off because he was like constantly trying to be the man of the house. It's like, you're not our dad, Ed. We all live here. We all pay rent. Like, get out of here. He definitely meant well, but he also is the kind of like person who had those like 6-foot antennas on the back of his car. But it was just a normal car. Like, it wasn't a commercial vehicle. So it's like, who are you communicating with? What police stations are you syncing up to listen to that you're not affiliated with?
Yeah, I was gonna say he's scanning. Like, that's all he's doing is like scanning the radios. Was he like a police officer? Like, do you know what his job was before? Because maybe he was just like retired and he was bored. And he's like, this is all I really know how to do.
That's exactly what it sounds like. I think he might have been like at one point, but I'm telling you, he was like in his like mid 70s when I lived with him. Everyone has neighbor drama. Hopefully it's never like super aggressive or petty, but those happen too. But I hope that whoever left that package on our door was protecting our honor and helping us against robbers and wasn't accusing us of theft, because it's not true. Attention campers, please meet at the old flagpole under the tall pine for morning announcements. Welcome back to morning announcements, campers. But before we get into morning announcements, we do have a little housekeeping, everybody. A couple weeks ago, my crush of the week was The Golden Bachelor. The show has officially ended, everybody who was watching. Show of hands, campers.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, because it came out like last week, so I don't even care if I'm like talking about it now. It's been like out for a week. So the show ended, and he did choose Teresa beat out Leslie, and I'm just like really shocked, and I actually enjoyed the series. First of all, it was only 8 episodes.
Yeah, I think it was really, they just had to do a test run to see how well it was going to do.
That's what you said, and I think you're 100% right on that, but I'm a little, I've just never seen a reality show like go so fast as it did. He had like 20 girls in the beginning, and he ended with like 2 in 8 weeks. That was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. It's like it could have been bad. Like, the viewership could have tanked because they were like, who is actually going to want to watch older people fall in love? And it did really well.
Little did they know that more people would watch that than a normal season of The Bachelor.
Is that true?
Yeah, I did so well. I actually made that figure up. I don't know if that was true.
No, but we're going to go with it.
We're going to go with the campers. Yeah, so Teresa won. I didn't see it coming. I said on record that I did not think she was going to win. I thought it was going to be Leslie. But something happened in that like sleepover night.
Yeah.
Because the next morning after he woke up with Leslie, like it just felt awkward with the filming. But then he felt so relaxed after his like, I don't know, his like fantasy suite night with Teresa.
I think she's very submissive, and he wants somebody.
What? Jeez.
Well, I'm not just saying like in the bedroom. I'm saying like in general. I think he wants somebody who like really needs him. Like, he wants to feel very needed, in my assumption, from what I'm viewing.
Yeah, and also like her husband had passed away too, so they had that commonality.
True.
But the reason why I'm talking about it is because the last episode was so drama. It was 2 hours too long, I thought. But before he even like picked who's gonna win, he like told Leslie ahead of time that it wasn't gonna be her. I think to protect her from having to like go out there and like pick them out one by one. I think he was like, let's just like be respectful and tell you before the end of the show so that like you don't have to like go to like the final rose ceremony, which I don't know if he was allowed to do that by producers. I think he can. I think he can do like whatever he wants, because then the drama that follows is they knew something was going to happen, like the heartbreak was going to happen while the cameras were still rolling. And I think it actually gave her a more devastating like like admission, because then they were just like one-on-one together, and I just thought it was so like crazy how like Leslie was obviously very hurt, but she let that motherfucker have it. Like Gary had no idea. She was like, why would you tell me you love me? Why would you do this? She's like, here I am again, I'm all alone, like I've always been my entire life, I never get picked, I'm always left alone. It was like I watch so much reality TV, and that will go down in my memory as one of the hardest things I've ever watched on a TV show ever. And you guys know I'm obsessed with Sister Wives. This was like up there with like that kind of like level of drama and like just, I don't know. It was just crazy to watch.
I also like, and I know that this is what everybody signs up for.
Yeah,
but
it's true, babe. You can't. That's what they sign up for.
People like him kind of like, I like am afraid of. I think it's just because of like my own history. But for him, literally, she said 12 hours earlier made her feel so secure, and in a private conversation she was like felt like she was guaranteed the spot. So like we don't know what they were saying because the cameras weren't rolling at that point.
Yeah, and he's like actively saying I love you to both of them, which I think is like, oh my god, I don't like that about the show. It's like finding love on TV is crazy, and at this point in their life they really are looking for their forever partner.
And then when she said I love you and he said that is so special, I was like, oh. And then it got awkward, and I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't loving the end of it. I was like, I could
It was hard
go
to watch
without watching the rest of it.
See, me on the other hand, I'm like, this is so difficult to watch. Wait, let me pause and rewind because that was insane. Well, I'm sorry. That genuinely though, like I feel terrible, but like, let's be real here. Everybody knew there could only be one winner. You know what I mean? So it's like we had to expect that someone was gonna get your heart broken. You don't want it to be you, but like Leslie really got destroyed at the end, and I feel like I thought it was going to be a different woman from the cast that was going to be the next Golden Bachelorette, like the first Golden Bachelorette. But now I feel like they might make it Leslie.
You think?
Yeah.
Oh, Elaine or
no, Eileen, I didn't think it was going to be. I didn't think it was going to be her.
The girl who left on her own accord.
The girl who left on her own accord because her daughter was having. Yeah, her daughter was having like postpartum really bad, so she left. I thought it was going to be her. Her name escapes me at the moment, but yeah, guys, just I thought it was great. I thought it really delivered on the drama and intensity that probably a normal Bachelor season gives.
Yeah, I think the sentiment of like them changing people's perspectives of finding love when you're older. And, you know, people are going through that when their like spouse passes away, and it's like, what do you do? Do you want to live the rest of your life like by yourself? No, you know what I mean? So I feel like it's definitely normalizing that for like a larger audience, especially young people. But I don't know. I feel like for me, it was that much harder to watch somebody in that position, like an older,
I know,
having their heart broken. It's sad. It's upsetting.
It is. I think we're in this age too with like reality TV, what we're showing that people of an older age give way more compelling stories than anybody in their 20s. Like I'm thinking about Sister Wives. I'm thinking about all the women of Bravo. Like these are people who are in their 40s and their 50s and their 60s that are delivering what we crave in reality TV, where these like young 20-something-year-olds, like Jersey Shore was doing it. And after that, no one's really been doing it for me. So I'm not like a Love Island kind of person. But
I was just going to say, not Love Island, like Too Hot to Handle. We watched the first 10 minutes and I was really turned off by it.
Yeah, it just seems like everybody's really there to get like just
get clout, get famous.
And it's like I'm so uninterested in anyone who's famous for being hot. Like I really am. Like you have to be like supermodel, like I don't know. Like obviously I'm always gonna watch Kendall Jenner. I'm like that's someone who's like, I don't know, not very interesting like with her personality, but I just like love watching her fashion campaigns. But like reality stars who aren't funny and are just hot, I'm like, that's like, a shelf life, babe. Comedy's forever.
I know. I was gonna be fresh, but I'm just gonna stop myself.
But anyways, just wanted to catch up on that. That went on a lot longer than I thought it would, but I had a lot to say.
Yeah.
So we're back in morning announcements. It's the part of the show where we share news articles with you that you might have missed that we feel like you could spread around town like hot gossip. Maybe write your favorite news article of the week on a box and leave it at your neighbor's door, because that could cause some conversation.
Sure could.
What is your article of the week?
Okay, my article is coming from bridgemichigan.com, but it's bridgemi.com. Bridgeme.com.
Okay.
It is by Brian Owens, and the title is "Feral Goldfish Are Menacing Great Lakes. We're gonna need a bigger bowl." I said feral goldfish, like I'm sold. Okay, so apparently this has been an ongoing issue, but it's now affecting the Great Lakes. Can you name one of the Great Lakes?
Yeah, of course. Erie. Lake Erie.
Perfect.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
That one's so fucking creepy, you guys.
It's so eerie. Michigan is another one, and that's
Superior.
Oh, okay. Should we go through all of them? I don't know any other ones.
No, I don't know anymore.
Okay,
Oh,
but
Champlain. I made that one up, I think.
Okay. So people apparently what's happening is people are dumping like their unwanted pet goldfish into storm water ponds, so like a retention pond that has like a sewer grate in it.
Yeah.
And the ponds are overflowing into nearby waterways, and that is when the chaos ensues. And lately the number has been growing rapidly, and they believe it's because like the wildlife people, whatever their proper title is, they found a way to control a breed of invasive carp. So they're like, amazing, we got that under control. But now the goldfish are taking their place. And I'm going to read really quickly what they said at the beginning of this. A tiny goldfish might look cute in a fishbowl or on your shelf. But if you release it into the wild, it can grow into a terrifying size and become a menace to the ecosystem. They eat pretty much anything and everything, root up plants, causing the water to become cloudy and dark, and reproduce and grow so quickly that almost no predators can stop them. And I feel like for the goldfish, at least, that's like best case scenario. They're like, oh, I wasn't wanted here. I wasn't wanted in your house. Well, I'm going to go live a free life in this open water, and I'm going to absolutely destroy your local ecosystem, and I'm going to fuck. I'm going to fuck at the local fishing brothel.
Yeah. You know what's crazy about goldfish too? Fish in general will grow to the size that their like area is available to. Like they won't get super big if they're in a bowl, but like if you give them a bigger enclosure or a bigger tank, they're going to get bigger. So I'm wondering how big these goldfish are getting, like monster fish.
Oh,
is it scary?
I have pictures from this article,
spooky.
And I could not believe that the fish I was looking at was a goldfish and not a koi fish. That's how big it was.
Oh.
Yeah, it's huge. I'll show you pictures. I'll put them up here. They'll be on Instagram and everything. So then there's this ocean biologist. Her name is Christine Boston.
Go off, girl. Local.
So she caught a bunch of these feral goldfish and she tagged them so she could track them to see what their habits were like.
Me scanning the QR code so I can watch it swim. I'm like, there it is. I checked in today.
Did you ever do that with like the sharks?
Of course I did in school. I think it's like really fun and it's like something you can always look back on. You can still do that for free if a camper is interested. You find out like those like ocean, I don't know how to search it. Tagmyshark.com.
Yeah, something like that.
Someone buy that off GoDaddy, please.
GoDaddy.com. Okay, so they basically tagged them 2 years ago and they were trying to figure out, what's going on here. And now it's like an even bigger issue. So she stated that they spent winters in like a small spot of the lake and then they would return to their spawning habitat each year, basically like their little winter lodge brothel situation. Quote, except for one crazy individual who left the harbor and spent several months out on the lake one winter by themselves. And they showed a picture of the fish that was like the rebellious one. And it is fucking huge. They said it was 3 pounds. A goldfish that used to be this big is now like in a woman's arm the size of a toaster.
Oh my God.
Yeah, bigger than a bread box for sure. And they call this the Judas fish experiment.
Oh, because he was cast out?
Like because well, the ones that they're tagging are the ones that are like without them knowing are like turning in the entire community because they're like they're following the one that's tagged along to find the rest of them and then like basically taking a dent out of the population. However they're doing that, I'm not sure.
I love the people who get to name these experiments. They're like, I have something clever to say. How about we call this experiment Judas? Like, that's so me to say that. I'm like, good. Okay, clever.
I mean, especially when you're like working with a bunch of other, like, it is interesting and it's fascinating, but like at the surface level, it can be very boring. So why not have fun with it? The Judas fish.
They could have like named it like 4489.
Yeah.
They're like, no, Judas fish. I like that better. I like that.
And then they close the article by saying that it's still a big issue. They've been able to handle a lot of it, but it seems to be an ongoing issue. And it is sprouting from people releasing their fish in these retention ponds that are close to the Great Lakes. So they say the control must start with stopping new fish from entering the wild. And that means keeping them in a fishbowl where they belong. And I know PETA's going to like have an issue with that, but basically if you don't want a fish, don't get a fish. And if you have a fish, don't release it into the wild.
Who's keeping these fish alive that long to have the decision to drop them off in a pond? It's so hard to keep a fish alive.
They were also saying if people, flush a live fish.
Oh my God, it was playing dead and look what it did. It ruined the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, wait, that's a Pixar movie waiting to happen.
Yeah. So
I played dead and I created an entire army in Lake Champlain. I think that's a lake.
That was Finding Nemo. That was a part of Finding Nemo. When
Oh,
he played dead to get flushed.
damn it. Pixar already did that, you guys. That fish hasn't seen the movie.
Yeah, hey, true. Yeah, so that's my article, and that is the feral goldfish community.
I love that. My article's also about animals.
What animal?
Dogs.
Okay.
Woof woof. Big news for our dog loving campers, everyone. LOY001 is the anti-aging drug that could hit the market in as early as 2026.
See, now that is a drug that needs a fun name.
Yeah. So the business is called Loyal. That's
Okay.
like the science firm. That's why it's called LOY.
Oh,
And then 001 is like the specific like trial they're doing. But I do agree.
Gotcha.
We could have a little bit more fun with it. Like, come on here. So Loyal is like the San Francisco based company behind the drug. And this article is coming from the New York Times. It was written by Emily Antz. So in recent years, scientists have been chasing after a drug that might stave off this heartbreak by extending the life of our canine companions. Stave off the heartbreak. That's an interesting word I've never heard before. Stave off the heartbreak. Okay. On Tuesday, the biotech company Loyal announced that it had moved one step closer to bringing one such drug to the market. The data you provided are sufficient to show that there is a reasonable expectation of effectiveness. An official at the U.S. Food and Drug Administration informed the company in a recent letter. So it's started its like trials through the FDA.
okay.
I love when I say stuff like that. I'm like, oh, it's FDA approved, as if I even understand what that even means. But like,
We
if-
see some official acronyms that we recognize, and we're like, yeah, oh, absolutely.
yeah, but the US FDA also approved Kool-Aid, so I don't know how much I trust them.
Mm-hmm.
That means that the drug, which Loyal declined to identify for proprietary reasons, okay, so it has a name, but they're keeping it under wraps, so sneaky little bitches, has met one of the requirements for expanded conditional approval. A fast-tracked authorization for animal drugs that fulfills unmet health needs and requires difficult clinical trials. The drug is not available to pet owners yet, and the FDA must still review the company's safety and manufacturing data. But conditional approval, which Loyal hopes to receive in 2026, which would allow the company to begin marketing the drug for canine life extension even before a larger clinical trial is complete. So this is all very interesting to me. So like the ABC News also wrote an article by Katie Kindlen that kind of broke it down a little bit more simpler. So like, how does the drug work?
Please.
Great question. So it's not like it's the drug is said to work by interacting with insulin growth factors, a hormone that is thought to be the cause of dogs to grow and accelerate at they're aging to grow at an accelerating rate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like dogs that are bigger have higher insulin levels, which is why bigger dogs like die before smaller dogs.
Yeah, and then you have that fucking Chihuahua that's pushing 16 years old, has its driver's license, and it's still shaking.
Exactly. Like it already went through its quinceañera and doesn't matter now. It's planning its 21st birthday.
Yeah.
Exactly. So those dogs have smaller insulin levels, which is like a big factor into why dogs are dying at an earlier rate.
Okay.
So this drug is set to like help lower insulin levels, essentially. The next question that was, is this drug a pill? No. So you'd have to go to the vet every 3 to 6 months to get like a shot for your dog.
That's kind of better because sometimes dogs don't want to take pills.
Yeah, then you're hiding it in a slice of cheese and you're like, well, did it eat it? It's like, no. Well, it's like, well, if it doesn't eat the cheese, then it could die earlier. But I don't know. It's just a cash grab, right? So now you have to go every 3 to 6 months. This is expensive, you guys.
Yeah.
And they've only proven that it can go up to like an initial year. I thought we were looking at a more significant time frame.
Right. But I mean, think about like their business model. And I don't know if you're going to get into it, but it's like people will do anything for their fur babies, like as they should. It's part of your family.
Exactly.
So like there's going to be money in it.
Oh my God. I think it's a genius like business because like, just like you said, like there's people who will go out there and try to extend their dog's life. And I don't think you have to start it until like later in life. You don't like start early on. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Well, that's good
So-
that you don't have to just like constantly go from the day that you have them.
Yeah. So in 2026, we'll keep an eye out. We'll update you guys then. That would be kind of a fun little update. Like, hey, it's here.
It's here.
But it seems like a hole in the market that we're finally figuring out a way to extend our pets' lives, which I think if you can afford it and you want to, that's your prerogative. And at the end of the day, it's just doing something good, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not harming anything. It's keeping your pet alive a little bit longer. So
Yeah.
we'll see about that.
Wow, very interesting. Yeah, I think it's interesting that cats can live to be like in their mid-20s.
Well, they're also doing another one for cats too for a different company.
How long are cats going to be around for?
Exactly. So the cats are being pushing 35. Yeah. They're
They're going to be on The Golden Bachelor.
oh, the Golden Catchler.
Cute.
I like that.
Grab your bug juice and bear spray, campers. It's time to pack it up and take a hike.
Welcome back to Take a Hike. This is the part of the show where we bitch a little and we tell something to take a hike. This is a fucking safe space, okay? The things that we say in this segment stay in this segment.
Mhm.
Sometimes they do leak into the next segment. Oftentimes they usually do. But let's get into it. What I'm telling to take a hike this week is LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, I hate LinkedIn.
Because LinkedIn they'll snitch on you. If you're peeking at somebody's LinkedIn and you're logged in, that person is notified.
Yeah, what's up with that peekaboo bullshit? Okay, you don't need to know what I was doing. Why are they the people who are announcing who's visiting the profile?
And I used to go and open like a private thing so I could like snoop and like do what I needed to do just to guarantee for peace of mind that I was absolutely not logged in. I would only open LinkedIn to snoop on people in an incognito tab. But now you can't even do that. They make you log in. So they're snitching on you right then and there.
Oh, so yeah, you can't even get around it anymore?
No, it's like log in. That's kind of like what TikTok does when you try to do it on a desktop. It'll let you be on for like maybe 5 seconds. And if you scroll, Instagram does it too. I mean, I get it. They want you to log in. But
Log in.
I hadn't logged into mine in a really long time. So I'm like, let me see who's trying to connect with me. So many random people from like high school and random people that I don't even know. I'm like, what good is it going to do for you if we're connecting here? Do you know what I mean?
I was that person.
Why?
I don't know. LinkedIn for me is just a very anxiety inducing memory. I was like fighting so hard to get a job. No one would hire me in marketing. And I was just like trying to make connections. And I was really insecure that I didn't have over 500 connections. That's when it says 500 plus. So I was just adding random people to hit that quota because I wanted to look more official.
Yeah.
Like LinkedIn to me just reminds me of my desperation in my early 20s to just get a job and use my degree because everyone's like, why are you still working in a restaurant? You have a degree. And I was like, it's so fucking hard to get a job. And it's like, it feels like a popularity contest. And it's like a very like public display of like, look at me and like how good I am at my job. And it just made me feel really bad about myself.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Like I know people are on there for a reason. And like most people have to have it to be like, you know, this is my running resume. This is what I do for a job. And I'm sure people have found success for it, but we're not here to talk about the pros. This is a cons only segment.
It is a cons only segment. I like that.
So I also I don't know if they do it anymore, but when you would endorse people, I think they were literally calling it like endorse this person.
What was that? Endorse me on Microsoft Word?
I'm sorry. I can't endorse a person that I was literally less than 6 months prior doing a keg stand with. I can't endorse you while you're wearing your business suit in your profile. I'm like, I know that you're crazy.
No, you could. You could endorse them on teamwork and you could endorse them on public speaking.
Okay, there you go.
You know what they're good at.
Okay, so then there's also the LinkedIn like celebrities.
Oh my God, who are these LinkedIn celebrities? Because they're a very special crew. I want to see a documentary about those people.
And I will say, because I did work a lot with people, like I did a lot of freelance work, so I have worked with these people before that have been lovely. But
yeah, you do know a LinkedIn celebrity.
Yeah, and it's all females though, the ones that I know.
Good for them. Bad bitches alert.
Yeah, most of the people that I'm talking about now are the guys. And I just kind of want to read some of these posts. Mind you, these are posts that people are putting out there into the ether
so we can say it.
On this professional website.
Okay.
So here's this guy, and it's I'll show you here. It's a lovely picture of him and his family, right? And I'll put the picture up here. I'll blur the faces. So he posts this picture with his family, and this is the caption: "This family trip to Chicago could have been worth $11,532 in 30 years if we invested the money instead. But I don't want to maximize my wealth. I want to maximize my life." It's got 517 applause reactions, 49 comments, 2 reposts. Was posted 9 hours ago. So to me,
I hate that.
That feels like a person who can't get out of this one-way track of thinking in a business way. And it feels like he's resenting his family. If I was one of those kids and I saw that when I was older, I would be like, damn, Dad, if only I weren't born, you could have $11,000 invested.
Well, it just feels like it's like this weird like bridge between like, I don't know, finance and business, but also trying to make it appealing as if it's like Instagram. It's like, that's what it looks like, an Instagram post, but with a financial twist, which to me sounds like the ultimate version of hell. Like, I don't want to read shit like that ever.
Then like, why even post a picture of you and your family on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Do you have another one?
Yeah. Oh,
These are fun.
I have a couple. Okay. So this was a long one.
Can I see
so
the picture?
I will, it's just all text on this one. So I'm going to pretty much give you the highlights. I'm going to put all of them up on YouTube if you want to pause to read everything. I don't know why you would want to do that, but I'm just going to read the highlights of this post from this man. And the picture is like a very muscular guy. I will say that. So a picture of a very, very muscular guy.
Juice head.
Yes. Okay, so he said in all caps, "Don't you ever tell me it's impossible." Pirate flag emoji. "You belay that kind of ridiculous talk. Heard this a couple of times this week, so I thought I'd take today to tell you to knock it the fuck off." His verbiage is also a little strange. "Yeah, I suppose this is a little savage for a Sunday. Wait a damn minute. Hell nah. It's not too savage. Sunday is like every other damn day." Like, what word salad are we putting together here already?
I thought I wasn't comprehending what you were saying. I'm like panicking what my response is going to be because I'm like, what was the message here?
Right. That's like, what are we talking about here?
Sunday's like every other damn day.
Mind you, that was condensed from like 10 different slides that were really not pushing the narrative of this forward anyway. So then he says, "How do I know the above? Weighed 125 pounds, 6 feet tall in high school, and was bullied. Told you will never, ever be anything and will always be tread on. Current stats, 6 foot tall, 220 pound mountain of a savage.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, how wrong those fuckers were."
Oh my God. You're saying fuckers on LinkedIn?
He used the dollar sign. Yeah, but yeah.
Where have we fallen from? This was not the intention of the application.
"Would piss my pants when standing in front of people. Was told I was so stupid and ugly and would never speak in front of a crowd."
What are you,
I'm
what
sorry.
Are you getting at?
I'm not saying that he's invalid and that he's lying, but who in high school as a 16-year-old is going up to him and saying, "You're so stupid and ugly, you'll never speak in front of a crowd"? Who?
He's like, let me tell you who it was.
Yeah. Okay. Ready for this? Current state. See in the pic below. One of the many times I have presented in front of a crowd. These doubters and haters can kiss my ass. Mind you, the pictures that he posted were of his speech was on top of a stool. Like it looks like a comedy set with a microphone and an empty auditorium. Like he just took pictures of where he was going to be presenting. I don't know. I found that very curious. And of course, at the end of this whole spiel, there was like 4 different, it was a lot of text. He's, sending a link. He's like, "Sign up for my coaching course." That's what this boils down to.
So he's just going to bully you the entire time.
He's a coach and he's using like really angry, and there was a lot of emojis that he didn't need to use. So like I can understand the sentiment, but like, sir, this is like so aggressive for no other reason besides that's his personality and he's just trying to set himself apart from other life coaching things. Like I don't get it. I'm not going to read that. And I know that there's people who would read that, but why are you yelling? This is LinkedIn, babes.
Yeah, but people in the fitness community like that are just crazy. Like those like ultra macho, like, look at me, I'm gonna teach you confidence, Joe Rogan ass bitches are just like loud for no reason. Like you're just shouting but about nothing.
Literally, that was what I was going to finish it. There was no substance. I read through the entire thing twice and I was like, what am I getting from this? And it really was nothing. It was like, oh, you grew up from high school.
Well, that's kind of the trend of what LinkedIn has become. It's a lot of loud about nothing. It's like, look, it's a pissing contest of like, look at me. And it's like, and people think they feel better about it because it's corporate, but it's like, wait, what's worse? Like the girl like showing off her vacation on Instagram, or like the guy showing off his career on LinkedIn. It's the same fucking narcissistic energy across the board, but you're hiding behind a professional fucking AI, mind you, photo that you used. We know you're on Lensa, okay? That's not a real photo of you in a suit. It's weird.
Love that. And I've got just one more that I'd like to share with you.
Share it.
Okay. This was posted 4 days ago and there was a 7-minute video.
Do you know
attached.
these people? Are you connected to these people?
I found one of these organically and the rest of them I kind of just fell down a rabbit hole seeking things out.
Got you.
Okay, so this says, "I know many entrepreneurs and self-starters love golf. I don't get it, but I had a good friend explain it to me this past weekend. Long range shooting for us is what golf is for them. So with that perspective, I can say this with all respect possible. Get into long range shooting. It's like golf, but for men. That will be all today." And then he has a 7-second video of him shooting his gun.
Why is that on LinkedIn?
Exactly.
What are we do? We're bleeding the platforms together, and I'm not understanding it.
Yeah, let me show you the thumbnail of this guy. His farts stink.
Ew.
He's got stinky, stinky farts and dick
Anyone
cheese.
who's posting anything of them like shooting a gun, I instantly have anxiety. I'm like, please read a book. Please, I don't know, knit a quilt. 'Cause you're giving me anxiety.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's the masculine energy that I just it's insufferable, in my opinion. But go off, do your thing. I've got opinions and I'd love to share it here.
There's reasons for LinkedIn being really a successful, helpful platform, but it is now filled with just like weird energy.
It's just so weird. It's a lot of like patting themselves on the back and just making a public parade out of it. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
So that's my take a hike. What do you got?
Do you know what I hate?
What do you hate?
When you go out to eat and the server's like, would you like to hear the specials? Because now I've signed in to perform. I don't want to hear the specials, but I'm going to politely ooh and ah while she lists off the most heinous foods I've ever heard of. We have a creamy butternut and saffron soup. Oh, that I was thinking about getting a soup. That sounds delicious. And for our entree, a mussels and squid ink pasta with a lemon vermouth reduction.
Danny, that sounds like Danny to me.
I was thinking that maybe. Oh, thank you. Oh. And then she's like, are you ready to order? And I'm not ordering anything off the specials. What do I say in these moments? Because I feel like if I say I don't want to hear the specials, I sound like a bitch. I'm putting this person on a performance stage, and now I have to perform as well.
Yeah.
Active listening on 100. And I just feel like we're all being fake here.
Yeah, it does feel like that. And sometimes there is that weird pause when they're like, do you want to hear the specials? And then it's a pause. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been on the other end of that where I've had to be the one giving the specials.
You have to.
And I promise you they have to say it, but I promise you also that they don't give a fuck if you order it. I'm actually telling myself to take a hike in these moments where I'm like, why am I overacting? Yeah. I really take it as like a lesson in improv. To be like looking around, thinking about it. Should I get that? That sounds amazing. I'm not getting your special fucking soup. I don't want it.
And then I always feel bad if it's like a busy day in the restaurant and there's one part of it that they can't remember, or they're like, and I'm like, girl, we can drop it because I'm not going to order the steak tartare.
Yeah, like, is it okay for me to be like, hey, can we just pretend that you said it if they ask, but I don't want it?
Yeah.
Because I already looked at the menu yesterday. I knew I was coming here.
I'm getting a burger.
I know what I like. Okay, so please spare me the energy and I'll spare you the performance of a lifetime, and we can just move on with our day.
Yeah, but hey, you have ordered a special once.
Oh, I actually ordered a special recently.
Okay. Okay.
Well, it was the duck confit.
The comfy duck.
Yeah, I don't know. You know why though? I had a beverage before, and I think I wanted to be an active listener. And I also like sometimes, do you ever get to like a place with a menu and you just like can't read it? Like
last night, everything was in France.
Yeah, like
French.
You're just like reading the menu, but not even just that. Like I feel like sometimes you just like read a menu and like somehow the word placement is weird, and you're kind of just like scanning and you're talking back and forth with your like friends or whatever. And every time you go to look at the menu, you're just like actually not focusing on anything. You're just like eyes darting back and forth. That's just weird. So that's why that night I ordered the special, but I typically don't. I always hate having to pretend that I like want to know because I already know what I want, and I feel bad that I have to do that.
Yeah. No, I get it. But I do picture them like rehearsing it in front of a mirror before they get into their shift. And it's like, love.
You have to.
All restaurant workers. So
that's
I have
what happens.
Nothing but respect.
The manager will tell you like the special of the day, and you have to know it and tell them that you know it before you get on the floor. Because if you're not saying it, then the kitchen's gonna be pissed. They'll take away your shifts. It's a whole shebang. But
you know what's so impressive? When people can take an order at a larger table without jotting anything down. It gives me anxiety because I'm like, I'm anxious about everything that just went down. But when everybody's order comes out and it comes out correct, even the people who wanted like a substitution, I'm impressed.
I wish you could see me my golden years of serving.
Were you good at that without writing it down?
I was incredible. I am not going to toot my own horn here, but I am. Like, I am not good at a lot of things. I was never good at anything with my marketing job. I always struggled really hard with like stuff like that. But in a restaurant, I was an incredible server. I was dynamic. I was funny. I was clever. I was quick. I was always like anticipating what you needed. Your Coke's half empty. Here's another one before you even ask.
Oh my God, that's the best. California Pizza Kitchen the other day, I wasn't even going to have a second root beer because I thought I was being ambitious at 11:30 in the morning, but I had no choice because
She was
that great
fantastic
waitress came
too.
over. Yeah, she was fantastic.
Yeah, I love California Pizza Kitchen. But yeah, no, I've taken big orders without having to write it down. But you have to think about it. It's only easy for servers who have worked in a restaurant for a very long time. Like they know the menu. So when you say something, it's like a common item. There's no substitutions. But yeah, like that's when you can become really good at that. Is when you've been there a long time, you know the menu well. So.
I also I'm a very visual like learner. Like that's just how like growing up I was able to learn visually from things. So I do better if I'm reading off of something or if I'm writing something down. When we go to the grocery store, I'll have 3 items left. I just caught myself doing it the last time we were there. It was like cat litter, eggs, and milk. Super simple. And then I put my phone in my pocket and I was like, cat litter. And then I couldn't remember it. I did get my phone out. I was like, Jonathan, this is embarrassing. Let's just leave the phone out and we're going to glance at it 6 more times.
Well,
while
you've
we're
never
trying
had
find
to
it.
like you've never had to like stretch that part of your mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not everyone was a server.
Yeah.
But you're with one now. And you tip really good. You always tip really good.
Oh my God. You have to. You have to. Even when picking up those orders, even when picking a takeout, you still got to tip.
Yeah. I don't think you need to tip 20%, but that's a conversation for a different day.
No, what do you think is fair if you're picking up like 10 to 15?
Yeah, I think it depends on the order. I think 10% is good for a takeout order, but sometimes they'd be pulling these fucking iPads around asking for 20%. It's like, girl, did I sit down? Did you give me a menu? Because I thought I put this in on an app and I just pulled up to the fucking counter. The tip culture is getting a little out of control. As someone who survived off tips their entire life, I do believe that certain industries are going crazy. Like, I don't know if
my optometrist.
Yeah. He's like, well, those contacts, those were custom.
Oh my God. They were customized just for me. No, 1-800-CONTACTS is who I do use. Please sponsor us, 1-800-CONTACTS. Okay, so then let's pit ours together.
I would rather listen to specials every day of the week than read a macho man's LinkedIn cover story.
I'll agree to an extent because then I find myself being entertained by the hate that I'm feeling. And that's not healthy for me.
Oh my God, that would be a great book.
What?
Entertained by the hate that I'm feeling by Jonathan Carson. That's a New York Times bestseller.
That's copywritten right now,
If you steal that, we will literally leave packages at your front doorstep. They say you're a copyright stealer. You're a copyright stealer. So you better have a Ring doorbell.
Yeah, I'm going to post about it on LinkedIn. Beach.
Do you think the new counselor likes the top bunk or the bottom bunk? Over.
Either way, I'm giving them my boondoggle keychain. Over.
Welcome back to Crush of the Week. It's a good time. It's a good time to celebrate what we're loving. I'm feeling lifted, gifted, higher than the ceiling.
Ooh-wee. It's the ultimate feeling.
Who are you crushing on this week?
What if our crush of the week was just like things we're stomping on? I'm just like bugs, grapes.
Oh.
We're just crushing things.
Dust bunnies, lantern flies, grass.
Fucking lantern flies. Get out of here. Okay. So my crush of the week, the last segment, I was really tearing down people on the internet, and I'm just going to flip it on its head because my crush of the week is when people on the internet get together to lift people up.
Oh, I know what you mean. I love that.
So
Sweet.
I've come across these TikToks infrequently, and I will stop and watch them when it happens. And it'll start off being like, I came across this YouTube channel, and it'll show clips from the YouTube channel, and it's usually like an older person doing something like fishing or exploring, and it's just like, it's cute, it's wholesome.
It's a passion.
And then they'll say, but the only problem was their channel wasn't getting any views. And then like the comments are all like, let's get them to like 5K, let's get them to 10K. And I'm seeing how many views and likes that this TikTok has. And then I go over to the YouTube channel they're talking about, and this old lady already has like 100,000 followers when like the video was posted 2 days ago. She only had 50 followers. I love when that shit happens. And I am always pausing the video and always like, does that ever happen to you? Do you come across those videos? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, 100%. I love watching someone's life be forever changed.
Yeah. I think it's sweet. So recently, actually, this one I didn't come across myself. We had a camper who I wrote down her. Okay, so shout out to Ash_Adventures 1001 who tagged us in this cute uplifting post of this channel. It's called Gay Grandpa's Travel, and it's these 2 older guys in their golden years on YouTube, and they just travel the world and explore. And I pulled up their latest video. So when the video was posted on TikTok or Instagram, I think I found this one on Instagram, They had like 200 subscribers, I believe. And then now they're like pushing like 5,000 subscribers. I'm like, go off. Like the channel's growing for them and they've already been doing it for over a year. And it was a really cute video clip that I watched on their channel where they were going up. What do you call the like the
gondola.
ski lift? Yeah, gondola. Is that what they're called?
Mhm.
So the gondola, it's like a ski lift in a living room. And the one guy was saying, he did a voiceover. He's like, it's a beautiful view. I have
A fear of heights and vertigo.
I have a fear of heights and vertigo, but that's what this trip was all about. It's taking risks and doing things out of our comfort zone. I was like, this is so cute. It was just a video of them exploring this mountain. It was in Jackson Hole, and it was like the view was beautiful. And it's just, I don't know. I think it was cute, and all the people in the comments were so uplifting. So it was definitely a big change from the LinkedIn posts and comments.
Well, it's good when mob mentality is actually like a positive mob. Like
Yeah.
we're all going to surround this like really creative like person and like get them followers and views and like support like their creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Years ago, the first one that I found, I still follow her, and she does really long videos. Like I'm talking like 4 hours, and she does lives like every weekend. She's just this older lady who tends to her garden, and she'll drink her coffee with people in the morning. And it like makes me tear up because it's just, I don't know, old people being cute. It just has a place in my heart. And I forget what I was going through at that point, but I would watch her videos frequently, and it was definitely
Comforting.
healing. Yeah. She would like be refilling her hummingbird feeder, and I would just sit and watch. And
What if
that
she
was-
dropped the jug on the ground and then she's all sticky and it's all being recorded and you're like, oh no, grandma.
I wish I could help you. And then the bees come,
Yeah,
and then the
she's
bees
being
start to sting her.
She's swarmed by the bees and she's swatting away
Screaming.
and then she trips.
Life alert.
Life alert comes and then there's like the ambulance. No,
And
that's
it's all
that's a
caught.
channel I'd watch.
Yeah, it's all caught on CCTV footage. No, none
Or
of that has
Ring.
happened. But then her nephew would come over, and he would help her open gifts from people who would watch and all this shit. I don't know. It was cute. It's wholesome. I like when people are uplifting on the internet.
I like that too.
I'm just not both of us like juxtaposing the shit that we're saying. You're like, I hate when people tell us the orders, but I did order one of the specials, and then me being like, I hate the internet, but also let's uplift each other on the internet. Just an observation. So that's my crush of the week.
We're just talking out our ass, okay? That's what this podcast is about. We're all sitting together as a camp community, bullshitting it and rocking it, okay? We're out in the wilderness. This is what we do.
Also, can I just say,
What?
I'm not the same person I was 20 minutes ago. I can't be held to those exact standards. Do
And
you know what I
won't,
mean?
and I won't hold you to that standard.
And I won't, because on our
Nope.
Halloween episode, a lot of you campers thought it was funny to go listen to the year before, where I ironically really said quite the opposite of what I was saying about technology and using phones at concerts.
Yeah, and you know what? You're growing, and you're a different person today than you were yesterday.
And tomorrow I'm going to be even different. I'm not even going to remember who I am.
That's your prerogative. Don't let anyone take that away from you.
Thank you. Somebody crushing on.
I'm crushing on the icon Flo from Progressive.
Okay.
But technically Stephanie Courtney is her name.
Oh.
So the New York Times Magazine did a whole write-up on her and her whole journey into becoming like one of the most iconic TV characters or commercial TV characters of all time. And I thought it was just so compelling.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you some cliff notes from the article. So in 2022, all like active property and casualty insurance is basically run by like 11 major companies.
Right.
And one of those being Progressive. So unlike most products who are either like selling you like a food or like a trip or like something tangible, insurance is one of those weird things that when you sell, you're kind of selling an idea of protection, but there's nothing tangible being given to you for paying for it.
Right.
So insurance companies have essentially like over the past like 2 decades have had to be really creative in the way that they market. And that's why we have all of these kind of weird mascots for insurance companies. So Flo is for Progressive. Then we have the Geico Gecko, who was essentially the first ever insurance mascot of like the new generation. So Geico stands for Government Employee Insurance Company. Did you know that?
Oh, I had no idea. I thought it was just like a play on gecko.
And the reason why they brought the gecko in as the mascot was to teach people how it's pronounced.
Geico gecko.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like, it's not pronounced because it looked like gecko, but he was like, no, I'm a gecko, but it's pronounced Geico. So that was the whole reason.
Was he before Flo?
He was before Flo. He was
Oh,
kinda
so
like the he's-
PF prior to Flo.
Yeah, PF prior Flo. But it's funny, like Flo is like a lot of her like counterparts for a long time have been like animated animals, like her competition, like the Aflac duck.
Oh my God, I forgot about him.
Yeah, and then also like so there's the Liberty Mutual emu, Professor Burke, who's played by J.K. Simmons, does like the farmer's insurance, like bum,
Yeah.
bum, bum, bum. Obviously, Jake from State Farm. They all have to have these like mascots, like Mayhem. For who does Mayhem?
Who's
What's that?
Mayhem?
Mayhem's like the guy who's like, oh no, it's like he like brings disaster to the house. Those are good. I actually like those ones the best. Allstate has Mayhem.
Oh, the guy in the suit who always has like band-aids on his face.
Yeah, because like a tree falls down, and he's like
I didn't know that was his name.
Yeah, it's called Mayhem.
Okay.
But this is about Flo, you guys. So it's really interesting. So Progressive spent $2 billion on advertising in 2022.
Well, I mean, they're not cashing anybody out.
Yeah, so that's more than McDonald's, Toyota, and Coca-Cola.
Wow.
That's crazy, right? How
That
much they
is
spent on
crazy.
it. So Flo debuted in her debut commercial in 2008. And she's still doing these fucking commercials, which is such a feat. And that's why I'm so impressed by this. She's been playing this same character every single year, multiple ads a year since 2015. They have not retired her character because it is
2008.
since 2008. So it's like 15 years of
Yeah.
her doing this, and it's that successful.
Yeah,
I
wow.
think that's
She got that
incredible.
fat paycheck.
So the New York Times Magazine like met her at a restaurant, and they gave her kind of like a whole profile on like her life and like where she's kind of how she's built this all and how it all came together.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. So she's 53, and when she initially graduated college, she went to go to school for performing arts. She went to acting school in in New York for Broadway, and she was constantly doing these kind of like interviews, and they'd be like, oh, like auditions, and they'd be like, you're great. No. Like constantly being told no for Broadway. So she moves back to LA after like in her early 20s, and she starts trying to do some acting classes because she's like, well, if I can't do Broadway, maybe I can do comedy. And she was actually did her first commercial in 1998 for Bud Light. She had a Super Bowl ad, and she's like, this is going to carry me forever. And it ran for 1 month. So she was like, well, back to the drawing board. So she's like broke. She's in the Groundlings in Los Angeles doing improv. And if you don't know what the Groundlings is, it's one of these major improv troupes in Los Angeles that a lot of people from SNL have been like plucked from. So it's like the best of the best have come from Groundlings. Some notable people that were like around the time that she was there was like Lisa Kudrow was in the Groundlings when she was there. So was Melissa McCarthy.
Wow.
So like big superstars, and she's there. So like SNL is like constantly coming to these like sets that she's a part of, and she's like being interviewed, and SNL like literally, this is what she said. SNL said they were like, stop sending in her stuff. Like, we're not interested. Like SNL was not interested. So like she's constantly being rejected by no. And the show signed one of her friends from class though.
Oh.
Kristen
Wig?
Kristen Wiig.
Wig.
So she's from Kristen Wiig. So the New York Times Magazine also interviewed Kristen Wiig for this article about her.
No.
Wiig described Courtney to me as one of the funniest people I've ever known in my life.
Oh my God.
Supernaturally gifted in instantaneously inventing new characters, a master improviser, effortless. She remembered a sketch in which Courtney played an excited stand-up waiting in the wings, listening to the prolonged fawning introduction before she walked on stage to begin her set. And as soon as she'd get out, she'd fall really hard on her face, Wiig said, laughing, just start moaning and crying. And that was the entire sketch. Like she would pretend to be like a comic, and she'd come out and fall, and like her entire bit was just like her on the ground, like crying in pain. Like that's like crazy thing that Flo was doing that.
Yeah. That's
So like
funny.
Flo has been she's still in the Groundlings. She still performs like once a week. It's like her passion. Like she loves comedy.
Oh. Wait,
But,
what's her
like,
name? Let's call her name.
Her name, yeah. So her name is, you're right, we should do that. Her name is
Courtney-
Stephanie Courtney.
Stephanie Courtney. Stephanie Courtney.
Yeah.
Stephanie Courtney.
Say her name, Stephanie Courtney.
Courtney.
So in 2007, Courtney's life was on all credit cards. Okay. Like she had done like a little bit on Mad Men, like these like off jobs, but like nothing ever really stuck. And her name was almost unheard of in the scenic Southern California because she's getting older at this point. Even the commercial gigs were slowing up. But that winter in 2007, she was cast in an insurance company commercial as a cashier. So the first script ended with a customer, upon realizing the quality of the deal he was receiving, he would say, wow. And then Flo was told to instruct on to like have an improvised, like funnier reaction. So he's going to be like, oh, wow. And then they were like, just go with it. Like give him like a big reaction back for like how good his savings was. So then she says, wow. And then says back, I say it louder. Do you remember this commercial?
I think I do remember.
So like the whole thing, they were in like a grocery store, and they're like delivering like cans of like paint. Everything's like says Progressive on it, but it looks like a supermarket.
yeah, but
she's
he's
like-
buying like the insurance.
Yeah, because you can like choose your insurance. So she's like, you saved $250. And then he's like, wow. And then she goes, wow, I say it louder. And it's like this funny thing. And they thought it was hysterical. They're like, oh my God, this bitch is funny. So they bring her back for another commercial, and they just kept bringing her back again and again and again. And now she has like a multi-year contract where it's like, okay, we're going to put you, Courtney, in like as many commercials as we need.
Stephanie.
I'm sorry. Is it Stephanie?
Stephanie Courtney.
Sorry. The double first name is really throwing me off. So Stephanie. So yeah. So Stephanie now has since been in over 1,000 progressive advertisements. I don't think that actually means commercials. I think that just means like
print,
bus ads or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah, and I think she's now negotiated her contract to just do like a one, like you're just every year renegotiating the contract. But it's so funny. Like they like interviewed someone there like that was in their marketing department. So even when people like reflect on a reason of disliking her, they still have a strong memory trace of her.
That's all that matters in advertising.
Exactly, and her like the reasons why people don't like her are never extreme enough for them to stop the character. They might be annoyed by her, but they know her. And I think they're like, that is a way better thing for marketing to have like some sort of reaction than to be completely forgettable, because you will remember Flo. And it's funny, like they even have like a little like shrine of her at like the headquarters of some of her iconic like bits and her wig. And like they sell it as a costume on their website. Like Joe Jonas was Flo from Progressive on Halloween 2 years ago. Like,
oh yeah,
it's a cultural phenomenon. Yeah. And Stephanie is a huge part of that. And I think she now like talks about it as like, hey, like this was not where I wanted my life to be. I'm super grateful for it. Like she still has dreams of pursuing things in comedy. She's like, at this point, I'm probably going to have to self-produce it because this is kind of not plagued me, but it's such a part of who I am now that like, I'm going to have to write my own destiny, but now I have the financial freedom too. I was always broke. And now she's been playing the same character for 15 years on commercials, which is like, it never happens.
Yeah. That's wild.
I found it to be very inspiring.
That's really interesting. I actually like want to read the whole thing.
Yeah, no. And she just seems like a very wholesome, like just excited to be there kind of person, which I always like people who are just happy to be where they're at.
Yeah.
Like she's didn't see it coming, but she's riding with it and it's changed her life. And I thought it was just very inspiring as someone who is constantly surrounded by her peers being like plucked and brought up to like the superstardom. And she was like, well, I'm just going to be one of the most iconic like TV show, commercial characters ever. So
yeah. And she's definitely in it for the longevity. Kind of in a similar sense, but obviously not with the longevity, the Education Connection girl.
Yeah.
I just came across her TikTok account a couple days ago. And she's like still kind of just stuck on talking about it. She looks fantastic and she seems like great, but I don't think she's doing any of the commercial work. So that's great that she is still like doing her damn thing.
Well, it's such a competitive field, right? And as soon as you're not wanted anymore, like they just drop you because it's not personal, it's business. But they've seen facts like that. Her presence in their company has been nothing but beneficial. And it was her. Like it wasn't these ads. It was like her character that she brought to life with her ad lib, with her comedic genius. Like that, those years of training allowed her in that moment to like deliver a line that they love. So we'll put it up in the Instagram too. Because I found the commercial easy. I'm like, oh, so this was the first Flo ad. Go off, Stephanie Courtney.
Do you remember the Cavemen from Geico?
Oh, I loved them.
Do you remember they got their own show? And one of them was Nick Kroll.
I think vaguely, but it didn't do well, right?
No,
I do remember that.
There was a lot of like, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think there was weird like scandal behind it, or it was getting really bad reception. But they didn't even put out all the episodes. They cut it after premiering it. They did like 6 episodes, and they were like, "Oh, this is really bad."
Yeah, maybe it just like wasn't being well received.
Yeah, but that was interesting.
Well, I don't know if Flo's getting her own show, but she is getting her own multiverse now. Now they have reoccurring people on the commercials with her as like supporting, so that they did that so that her storyline could continue and that her relationship with the audience could grow beyond one kind of interaction to just strengthen what they've created.
Yeah, she played all the members in her family.
Yeah, and it was cool. They did like a whole thing too about like they had the writer from the article come on set for the commercial, and like watching the writer like, or reading how the writer like interpreted like the craft table and like the big production of it all and like the behind the scenes of it all. It was really interesting. It was on New York Times Magazine. So if you're interested in reading it, it was a long article.
That's really cool. I'm definitely gonna read that.
I'm just proud of her. I'm happy for her. I'm like, pave your own way. Sometimes things in life don't pan out how you want them to, but if you're willing to ride with it and just say like, hey, like didn't see myself here, but I'm going to do the best at what I'm doing here, you can become something that you never thought you could. And I think she's a real testament to that. So I love her. She's so cool.
Iconic.
What song's been stuck in your head all week? Welcome to Camp Songs.
Welcome back to camp songs. Everybody, pull out your guitar, your harmonica, that silly little tambourine. Whatever happened to maracas? Those were always fun. And let's all share a song together or two. Jonathan, what is your camp song this week?
My camp song is Sexy Villain by Remy Wolf.
Ooh, I love Remy.
Sexy Villain. I'm going to be honest, I don't really have a whole lot writing on that, but that song I cannot stop singing. It's probably been over a week. It's like maybe pushing a week and a half between that and Exile by Taylor Swift, but I wasn't going to do that one. But yeah, that's my song. I cannot stop singing it. I love Remy Wolf. She used to open up for Still Woozy, who you love.
Yeah, and they have a song together.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my song. And if you want to listen to it, you can listen to it for free on Spotify. We do have a playlist linked below as well as on YouTube.
Yeah, Remy Wolf is a cool girl. Like some people are just inherently cool. Like I don't want to say we. I'm not gonna speak for you. I'm not inherently cool.
I am.
Yeah.
Oh, not the high pitch
cool.
crack of the voice.
I think you are hysterical. I think I am hysterical. I think I have a lot of qualities, but I don't think I'm a trendsetter. I don't think I'm setting the vibe of the environment. Okay. I think I just kind of show up and I put on my heels and my little tap dance and I put on a leotard. Like that's who I am. Remy Wolf sets the tone. She's a vibe setter.
She is. But when we pass away one day, like whoever's speaking at our funeral is going to be like, they march to the beat of their own drum.
Yeah, we did, but we do.
Yeah, but we're constantly marching around the house to the beat of our own drum.
I love that. It's a good song.
Yeah. So
Sexy Villain. My song of the week is Take Me Home, Country Road, a new cover released by Lana Del Rey.
Boo.
But originally sung by, do you know?
No.
John Denver.
Wow.
Did I say his name right? Was it John Denver?
Probably.
Hold on. Yeah, John Denver.
A man so talented, they named a Colorado city after him.
So that's gonna play into this. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little history lesson about the song. It's actually very interesting. So,
thank God you're bringing something, because my had no substance.
Well, because this is a very historical song. Everybody knows Take Me Home, Country Road. So the song came out in 1971 by John Denver. And I'm going to sing a little bit of it and we can all sing together, because if this ain't a fucking camp song, I don't know what is. 3, 2, 1. Take me home, country road, to the place I belong, West Virginia. Best part. Mountain Mama. Okay, who is Mountain Mama?
It's me with my big titties.
So the song messages of love and longing for a simpler way of life has resonated with people all over the world.
It resonates with me.
This song is a global phenomenon, and it's interesting how it all came to be. It's actually cool. So in 1970, Billy Danoff and Tavi Nevert were driving to a family reunion along Clopper Road near Montgomery County, Maryland. So to pass the time, the couple made up a song about a winding road in the country. The only problem was the 3 syllables of Maryland did not fit the rhythm of the song. Danoff then went through the 4-syllable song, Massachusetts. And then it didn't work, and he was like, let's just settle on West Virginia. But it was going to be like, Massachusetts, Mountain Mama. We almost got it, you guys. We almost got it.
But you wouldn't be Mountain Mama in Massachusetts.
There's mountains in Massachusetts. I don't want to hear it.
No, you would be like, Scalloper Mama.
You don't know about
Bolton Mama.
Listen, this is my research.
New England Mama.
Okay, so it could have been us, but it wasn't me, guys. They gave it to West Virginia, but this is funny. They had never been to West Virginia. They go, I just thought the idea that was hearing something so exotic to me for some places far. West Virginia might as well have been Europe for all I know.
That is so funny, because the whole time I'm always like picturing this song being sung by somebody who's like, West Virginia, I love West Virginia. It's my home. It's where I'm from.
They had never been to West Virginia, but they were in Maryland when they wrote it, but they said Massachusetts. They're like, no, it's going to be West Virginia. And you know West Virginia.
Yeah. Oh my God. The memories I have of driving through it with you is like gorgeous. And that's all I can think about.
Well, they're gagging for it. West Virginia.
Oh my God, of course.
Make it our state song.
WV.
But it's kind of like a bigger than that. It's a lot of sporting events play it. A lot of people have covered it. So it's really funny. So everything is really funny apparently to me. So when they were in Georgetown, Washington, the 2 of them were like struggling musicians. They were opening up for John Denver. After the show, they played him the song. He was like, wait, I'm gagging. He's like, I'm gagging, girls. I love this. So the entire night they stayed up and they reworked the song. And then John Denver released it that year. It charted at number 2. And since then, it's been covered by over 150 artists and sang in at least 19 different languages.
Wow.
It is a global phenomenon. And they had never even been to West Virginia. So Lana Del Rey is just the latest singer in a long history of singers to perform it. I love this song. I love Lana, as you guys know. So obviously we're adding it to the playlist. But I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I wonder if she's ever been to West Virginia.
She's been.
She probably has, but she also loves to ignore the East Coast constantly. Unless it's Coney Island or Brooklyn, she's not interested.
She's a West Coast baby, and now she's been like playing around the South for fun. I don't know what she's doing. I'm like, girl, get out of the Waffle House and back on tour.
Get
You're
out of the
not
Waffle
gonna
House.
believe what I just heard.
Not the Waffle House Lana era. That really wasn't addressed. I mean, she talked about it a little bit in that interview, but then she was just like, that was that. I was like, I wanted more. I wanted more.
If I can have a life like Lana where I can continue to stay like in the people's like spotlight, but not have to interact with anybody ever, that's fun. Like, I feel like she doesn't have to like do these massive award shows and do these massive things. I feel like she puts out an album, she goes on tour, she interacts with her fans, and then she just dips. I'm like, that's fun. That's the best. She got the best of everything.
Yeah, that's true. And like the stars know who she is. Like Anne Hathaway. There was a picture of Anne Hathaway getting out of a car, and she had her Spotify open, and it was Lana's latest album.
A lot of campers replied to our my like specifically my top, and they were like, ugh, we knew Lana would be there. And Noah. Okay, anyways, we've been talking now for a very long time. I had a lot of fun recording with you today.
Yeah, me
It was
too.
a good episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please rate us 5 stars and give us a little review wherever you listen to podcasts. We're wrapping up the end of this year pretty soon. My God, I can't believe it's already December.
I know, it's nuts. We have pretty much, just a couple more episodes for the end of the year.
I know. I still need to find that Princess Goral ornament. I've been
I
tagging it
know.
a ton.
Multiple ones. I'm like, how many?
How many sexy little alligators are there?
Truly, there's more and more. I've seen at least 7. That
I
we've
know.
been tagged in.
And thank you for sending us your little ornaments. It's been really fun to see them.
Yeah.
If you're interested in our ornaments, we also have a Patreon up doing an ornament
tour.
An ornament tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, we invented the ornament tour, darling. Okay, we're done. I'm sick of rambling. You guys must be bored of us already.
Mhm.
But if you're not, thank you. We love you. And with that being said, lights out, campers.